Hello there. So, I recently saw this video, The Existential Horror of Logan Paul, a video essay, made by the channel Big Joel about Logan.
I think there's another important way to talk about this video, and that's by looking at it and the rest of Logan Paul's vlogography as the piece of art that it necessarily is. Every single day for more than a year, Logan made us a piece of media that was watched and enjoyed by millions of people. And I don't think we can understand what this last video means until we look at that media and ask, how does this function? Why is it the way it is? When I watch Paul go to Italy or Dubai or Japan, I'm struck by the extent to which these cultures are totally irrelevant to what he's trying to do. He doesn't experience Italy, he happens to it, tries to fly a drone over the Colosseum and gets arrested briefly. He doesn't do much of anything in Dubai besides buying stuff and meeting a sea of people. He doesn't appreciate Japan, he mostly just runs around in his Pokemon outfit and wears this little getup. For Logan Paul, acting this way is a necessary output of the persona he's constructed. Vlog. Let's try to cultivate an identity defined by egoism and...
It's a really good video, but I have something to add to it. Admitting that everything he said is true and realistic, which it really is, the point that I want to make is that Logan's persona towards selling his merch and change of behavior, it's only a symptom of a problem, and not the problem itself. Let me explain. I saw his Vines back in 2014, when Vine were pretty popular and there were thousands of pages and videos on YouTube with compilations. A friend of mine really enjoyed them and sent them to me. I wasn't really thrilled with them, but I did enjoy them. Spending 6 seconds watching a muscular guy jumping into the snow was pretty funny.
Excuse me! Which way is the beach?
Oh, it's a scorcher today!
But my ability to read people with a psychological point of view made me notice some things about him. To put it simple, I saw something missing in him, something that he tried to get through making videos. Obviously, that is not possible since it was something very deep and serious and not just a simple thing that you can get around by just doing anything. But to get back to Big Joel and his video about Logan's behavior towards selling his merch, I think that was only a way to fill that void that he feels. Logan, I mean. Trying to fill the void with something, anything at all, it's what made me reach the conclusion that he's trying to distract himself from dealing with his problems. This is what I mean by that. Everyone in school has a certain persona, some behavior that they manifest around their classmates and their friends, but usually when they are alone, they are their true selves, with all their fears and sadness and problems, etc. With that said, some people don't want to deal with that, don't want to face their own problems, because they're just scared and instead they prefer to avoid it or just ignore them completely. And this is what Logan did. I personally don't think that his mindset was to gain money when he started to make Vines. It was certainly a part of it, but not the main reason, in my opinion. I think that his main purpose was to distract himself, to have something to think about and something to do that would not let him think about his problems, even when he was alone with his thoughts. So what I think happened is that it got to an extreme. He started acting out what his personality should be like, what people like to see, and he started to behave like that until he himself believed it. Not only that, but he surrounded himself with people that would reinforce that, gave him more wood to burn on his fire, so to speak. A parenthesis that I want to make is that I saw so many body language readings of his apology video after the Suicide Forest, and I'm capable of body language as well, and I noticed that people who were more angry and feeling something negative towards him considered as negative and indicative of lying, given the body languages that is associated with guilt and remorse.
That's weird. That's really weird. And his head goes down and this shoulder goes up. I'm just here to apologize.
I'm ashamed of myself.
I'm ashamed of myself. That's weird. It's like his body is like physically confirming what he's saying. Like, instead of thinking like, oh, is this the right thing to say? Am I saying it right? Instead of coming out in the eyes, it's coming out in these movements. I'm ashamed of myself. Like, he's like, yes, good, say this, right.
Some body language video went as far as saying that he's a psychopath by some weird face structure and this alignment of his ears. I don't know. I did some research on this, but I couldn't find anything regarding it. But even if that was true, his head was tilted in the apology video. So how can you base your rhetoric on something like that? Now, I'm not someone who avoids criticizing people, but this just seemed wrong. If you have to criticize someone, criticize them for real reasons. You don't have to make up something to make it more interesting, because that just comes off as an attack and not simple criticism. If you hate the guy, cool. But when you're analyzing someone, you should be completely objective. Nobody cares how you feel about it. They just care about what's going on. And there are plenty reasons to criticize Logan and Jake Paul the same. But I'm digressing. I know that what I'm saying about Logan Paul are more or less assumptions and theories. You shouldn't take them as facts, but try to think yourself if this makes sense or not. Let me tell you about what I could see while watching his unwind on YouTube. First of all, I already had an idea of who he was because of his vines. Then all the drama started with him and his brother, and the video about his colorblind glasses that H3 made and other things. All this made me think of how much attention he needs, how he always tries to do something to keep people interested in him and keep watching his content. You could say that he's doing all this for money, but that's too simple. Human beings never do something for one reason only. Usually they don't even know the reason, or the main reason. And you're naive if you think that this is the case with anyone really. Everyone has many reasons to do something, and for most part they don't even know it. Watching some of his videos, I realized how much both brothers, Jake and Logan, surrounded themselves with people very similar to themselves, who you could call ADHD, but that's not entirely true. They aren't unable to pay attention and to not distract themselves constantly. They want that, and I will go as far as to say that they need that. They are always looking for something new, something interesting, and to do that, they need money. Buying cars, jewelry, clothes, and whatever might allow them to ignore their problems for a little bit more. Selling merch is a key point for that. You see, people don't need an extreme amount of money. If a person can just have what they want, whenever they want, they don't care about money anymore. They usually focus on family and friends and having a good social life. So this is not about money, not completely. But why selling new merch every day and publicizing it constantly? Well, because that's a way to have something in your mind to think of, always. Just imagine what comes to all of that. Meetings, writing, thinking about new ideas, making videos about it, making songs, producing music videos. That's a lot of time spent on this. Now, for the sake of time, I will only say just a couple of things. I will make a part 2 of this video, so to explain everything that I have in mind. One thing that made me realize this whole point of distraction was when I saw his father's behavior. That's not really the behavior of a responsible adult, even less of a responsible and present and loving father. Rather, that's the behavior of a teenager.
Okay, this is the Who Loves Your Son More contest. I'm gonna ask you guys some questions. If you think you know the answer, just go ahead and shout it out aloud, okay? Okay. You got a shiny head, Dad. That's why I love you. We'll start out with something easy. What's my middle name? Yo, what the fuck?
I think it's River.
Yes, it's River.
Yo,
yes.
what the f?
River.
Yeah.
No, that's not my middle name. I'm upset. Yo, they both suck as parents, bro.
Having divorced parents is also a key point of the brothers' behavior and personalities. There are a few more things that I want to talk about, but I leave it to the second part. See you soon.